Well, good afternoon. The lights are on, they tell me. So thanks for coming back into the room for the afternoon session. What a great meal the Holiday Inn served. And you know, we're a little sheepish. We didn't plan on this big of a crowd, so Gene and Caitlin had to, go help. Did you help out? I don't know, but they dished up some extra plates, and we're real happy about that. So thanks to the Holiday Inn and the staff for getting that organized, and thanks to you all for, again, coming to the meeting. We're going to work into the afternoon session, and it's the 1 o'clock session, but before we introduce, we have a video from Senator Hoeven and then the Peterson brothers from Kansas here. I'm honored to give the stage for a minute or two to one of our North Dakota corn grower board members, Kevin Skunas. He's from Arthur, North Dakota. Kevin is on the National Corn Board, and they serve National Corn Growers Association. There's a group of them around the country on that board, and more importantly, Kevin was elected the first vice president for the 17 year, which means he's second in command of our National Corn Board in the United States, and next October, he becomes the president. So we're very honored to have him here. He's going to talk to you for a little bit. Kevin is the third national president from North Dakota. We've got Wally Hardy quite a few years ago. Bart Schott, if you'd raise your hand, back in 2012, is also here, National Corn Board member. So Kevin will be our third on the docket. So Kevin, if you could come up and give a little rah-rah from National Corn, we appreciate it. Let's welcome Kevin Skunas. One other thing. So I think it was around the primary when Governor Hoeven won the primary over the Attorney General when
Governor Burgum.
Yeah, what's that?
Governor Burgum.
Yeah, Governor Burgum won the primary, and I sent him a text about the same time I believe he got elected to first vice president. So the Arthur kids prevailed for that week. So we had fun with that.
All right. Thanks, Dale, and thanks everybody for being here today. It's you out here that really helps us in the National Corn Growers and the North Dakota Corn Growers really find what it is we need to do as an organization and an industry. National Corn Growers, we're proud to say we have over 40,000 members now. That's been ramping up over the last few years. We're a federation of state associations and checkoff councils. It's always an exciting time in the corn industry, and we have just implemented a new strategic plan at National Corn Growers. And with that, we realigned our action teams this year. We went from 6 action teams to 8. Some of our teams were being overloaded, so we split them up a little bit. It's going to be a little growing process to get all of the projects that need to go with our action teams spread out among those action teams. But we think it'll spread out the workload a lot better for them. So our risk management team, of course, is the team that'll be in charge of our farm program that we're coming up, that we're going to start discussing for the 2018. Of course, they have a very important job to do with that. And I want to thank our guys, and of course I'm one of them, but we had the North Dakota listening sessions. The North Dakota Corn Growers helped with that. And being a grassroots organization, that's extremely important that we hear from you, the farmers, what we need in our safety net going forward. You know, the Title I crop insurance and things like that. So we're really happy and waiting to hear what our surveys are showing. So some of the other priorities of National Corn Growers, of course, we want to support trade. And we all know what's happened in the last few months. Of course, we were pretty high on Trans-Pacific Partnership. That's been taken off the table now, but we're very excited to start working on some bilateral trades, because we know that if we're going to get rid of the corn pile that we have in the U.S., 15.2 billion bushels this year, we know that trade's going to be important, and we have to work on these deals because we need to be able to work on a level playing field with the partners that we trade with. Probably another important priority of National Corn Growers is ethanol, and we all know that we're feeding, our best customers in the U.S. and across the world are the livestock folks. And we thank you folks out there that are livestock growers, and you're our #1 customer. But along with trade, we need to get rid of that pile of corn, and that's grinding the corn for ethanol and exports and using it here in the U.S. So a couple of things that will be helpful with that in the ethanol world is the reed vapor pressure. If we could talk to our congressmen and senators to help get that, if we get the reed vapor pressure, which is the amount of pressure that the gasoline puts out during the summer months, because we cannot sell E15 during the summer months in most of the states. So if we get the 1 pound waiver that has been granted for E10 up to the E15, that would be an incredible advantage for selling ethanol in the summertime. So we go along with, we have some pump infrastructure we're working on, prime the pump. We're working on some pump manufacturers at the national corn growers level. We have a contract signed with Wayne manufacturers, and they have about half of the pumps that are put out. We want to get them to put their standard pump out that would be E25, UL labeled for E25. And that would be a big deal. Then they could put any from E10 up to E25 through those pumps, because some of the pumps cannot handle anything over E10. We're also working with American Ethanol. We've had a contract with NASCAR and Growth Energy for the last 6 years. That contract expired last year. We're hoping to sign another contract. We think that NASCAR is a good tool that we're going forward to show that E15 works on. They just in Martinsville last fall, NASCAR cars eclipsed the 10 million mile mark without a single fuel-related issue. So that's some of the things we're working on with ethanol. The last thing I'll talk about is the regulations that have been hamstringing our industry over the last few years. Probably with a new EPA leader, we're not proposing that we get rid of all of our regulations, but we know that we need to get the regulations down at the local level, because we have people in Washington, D.C. who have never stepped on a farm that are setting some of the regulations for our local farms, some of the things like waters of the U.S. So we're not proposing to get rid of them, but we need to relax some of these regulations. So with that, I think I've probably taken up enough time, and we'll get the Peterson brothers out here after a while to really entertain you. Thanks, Dale.
Thanks, Kevin. Thanks for what you do for North Dakota and all the travels you do on behalf of National Corn or North Dakota Corn. So it's next up is a video from Senator Hoeven. Thanks to Senator Hoeven and staff for providing the video. If you can hit play.
Hello, and thank you for the invitation to your annual meeting. It's a pleasure to speak to you today. Right up front, I want to thank you for your hard work. Our farmers and ranchers do a tremendous job providing food, fuel, and fiber to meet our needs. As chairman of the Senate Ag Appropriations Committee and a member of the Senate Ag Committee, I'm working to ensure that our producers have the support they need. That includes confirming Governor Sonny Perdue as the new Ag Secretary so that we can get to work on our priorities, like drafting a new farm bill. Governor Perdue is a solid choice. He grew up on a farm, so he knows the day-to-day challenges our producers face, and he understands the importance of agriculture to our economy. We're also working to provide producers with greater access to capital, especially given the challenges of low commodity prices. Legislation we passed late last year ensured that the FSA loan program can meet increased demands, and I continue working to increase the loan amounts individual producers can receive so that farms of all sizes can utilize the program. Additionally, we continue working to improve ARC payments. Last year, the Senate Ag Appropriations Committee approved my legislation to create a new nationwide pilot program to improve the fairness of ARC payments. We'll work with the new administration on this issue and continue our efforts to reform yield calculations to improve the effectiveness of the program. We also continue our efforts to reduce the regulatory burden, including stopping the waters of the U.S. rule. Just last week, the new administration announced an initiative to help roll back regulations by requiring that 2 regulations be rescinded for every new rule that comes online. These are just a few initiatives that we're working on to provide our producers with the tools they need to succeed. I look forward to working with all of you as work begins on a new farm bill. Thank you again for all that you do, and have a wonderful meeting.
All right. Well, thank you again to Senator Hoeven and the staff for putting that together and sharing that good message with our North Dakota Farm Group. Well, now we'd like to introduce the kids from Kansas. I didn't hear what college exactly you came from. Any of you guys from K-State? Oh, yeah. All right. I was at K-State a couple years ago. So anyways, so let's introduce our keynote speakers today. Coming all the way from central Kansas, the Peterson Farm Brothers are three brothers who farm with their parents and sister and create social media content to promote agriculture. Their YouTube videos have received over 40 million total views. The brothers Greg, Nathan, and Kendall, which one is Greg, Nathan, Kendall, thank you, have been able to travel around the world to promote ag, but their goal is to operate the family farm together. So let's give the Peterson Farm Brothers a warm North Dakota, Fargo, NDSU applause. Thank you.
How are you guys doing? All right, that's great. Well, we're glad to be here in Fargo, in Bison country, I guess. We were all three at that game a couple years ago, so still hurts. But we root for you guys when you're not playing us. So us state schools, we gotta stick together. So we can be friends today, right? Yeah. Okay. My name is Greg. I'm the oldest Peterson brother, and these are my brothers. And I guess kind of already introduced ourselves a little bit, but we're here this afternoon to kind of talk to you guys about the YouTube videos that we make and kind of how we got started making those and where all they've taken us and what we've learned about advocating for agriculture. And so just to kind of introduce our family, like they said, I guess we've introduced the three of us. You want to talk about the rest of the...
Yeah, so our mom and dad, they obviously, grew us up on the farm, and we learned a lot from them. We're really appreciative of just kind of what you learn on the farm, or whether it's working with animals or just the respect gained from our parents. And also our younger sister, you can see there she's listed as an honorary bro. That is kind of because as we started, our YouTube page and our Facebook page were called the Peterson Farm Bros. And we didn't know she was going to get too involved. She started out kind of helping with some of the filming process. And then we've gradually kind of started to put her in more videos. And then people started asking, why are you still the Peterson Farm Bros? But Laura kind of knows she gets looped in with some of the stuff we do. And she sometimes appreciates that title. And we ended up not being able to change the Facebook page or YouTube page very easily. So that's her official title now.
We are the fifth generation of our family farm, which is located in central Kansas, just south of Salina, if anyone knows where that is. And we're kind of a common Kansas family farm. We raise beef cattle and then also corn, soybeans, wheat, milo, and some alfalfa. And we always enjoyed growing up on the farm and helping our dad wherever we could as we got older. And even though we lived in a rural area, there were still a lot of kids from town that didn't really know what was going on the farms all around them. And so we always enjoyed, just talking about what we were doing on the farm on the weekends or whatever. And we always enjoyed telling people about that, but we never really knew what it could turn into.
So 4.5 years ago, we made our first parody YouTube video, and so kind of what that was we took the background track to one of the popular songs, and the first one we did was I'm Sexy and I Know It, and we changed it to I'm Farming and I Grow It. And so that kind of has kept going, and now we have over 10 different parody music videos. And so that farming combination was what we were kind of going for in the beginning. And so we're actually going to go ahead and play the first one.
How many of you have never seen any of our videos before? No, this will be okay. Well, we're going to go ahead and, like Kendall said, we're going to go ahead and play one. So you've seen one before, haven't you? Yeah. We're going to go ahead and play one, and that way kind of give you guys an idea of what we do. And this was the very first one we ever made, and we're going to tell kind of the whole story behind it after we play through it here. So this is I'm Farming and I Grow It, and we might need some of you guys' help to sing along with us, all right? We want to hear you.
When I'm up at 7, sunrise gives me a glimpse of heaven. I get right to work, a farmer's life can be a little berserk. Yeah. This is how I roll. I feed the cattle till their stomachs are full. Treat 'em right, that's my belief. What's for dinner? I say beef.
Gotta feed everybody. Gotta feed everybody. Gotta feed everybody.
I work outside.
Gotta feed everybody. Gotta feed everybody. Gotta feed everybody.
I work outside.
When I step to the bump,
Yeah.
this is what I see. All the hungry cattle are staring at me. I got passion for my plants and I ain't afraid to show it. Show it, show it, show it.
I'm farming and I grow it. I'm farming and I grow it.
When I'm in my tractor, I got more power than an arc reactor. And when I'm in the field, I try to raise crops to maximum yield. This is how I roll. Without me, the world be out of control. The hours I work, there is no equal. Gotta feed the mouths of hungry people.
Gotta feed everybody. Gotta feed everybody. Gotta feed everybody.
I work outside.
Gotta feed everybody. Gotta feed everybody. Gotta feed everybody.
I work
When
outside.
I step to the bump,
Yeah.
this is what I see. All the hungry cattle are staring at me. I got passion for my plants and I ain't afraid to show it. Show it, show it, show it.
I'm farming and I grow it. I'm farming and I grow it.
Water, 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 water. Yeah. Water, 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 water. Yeah. Water, 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 water. Yeah. Water, 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 water. Yeah, yeah. Cattle need water, man.
Crops need water, man.
We all need water, man. I'm farming and I grow it.
Gotta feed everybody. Gotta feed everybody. Gotta feed everybody.
I work outside.
Gotta feed everybody. Gotta feed everybody. Gotta feed everybody.
We work outside.
I'm farming and I grow it.
Thank you. So, when people see one of our videos for the first time, or for those of you who did just see one of our videos for the first time, the first question people usually have is, whatever gave you guys that idea? Whoever, how did you guys start doing something like that? And the answer to that question was kind of what Nathan was talking about. Is we'd grown up kind of trying to show our friends that farming was cool, and I'm sure many of you can relate to that. Even growing up in rural areas, some people don't understand the importance of farming. And so that kind of part of our lives, like that was the reason I chose the major that I chose, which was ag communications and journalism. So when I was going to Kansas State University, I was majoring in ag communications. And in our classes, we were always talking about, how can we better communicate what farmers do to a general public that, as many of you know, anymore knows nothing about the value and importance of farming. And I remember we'd sit there in class and we'd watch some example advocacy videos that different organizations had put out. And I always thought that those were really well done and that they communicated a good message. It's just that I didn't know if any of my friends from Kansas City would necessarily want to watch those videos that we were watching as examples in class. And so I'd always thought to myself, surely there's a more entertaining way to communicate farming to people. And it just so happens that I was a music performance minor at K-State, so majoring in ag communications, minoring in music performance, kind of a strange combination, but thought, why not put those two things together to create a music video about farming that our friends could watch. And so that was kind of the original idea. And then one evening I was at a restaurant and the song "I'm Sexy and I Know It" was playing. I don't even like that song, ironically. But I started to change the lyrics just to make my friends laugh, and then of course my idea to make a music video became a parody music video just by chance that night. The next step, of course, was to convince my 2 younger brothers to help me make this video, and I was pretty excited about it. I kind of was envisioning the potential it had to show our friends what we really do on the farm. Nathan and Kendall, on the other hand, maybe not quite as excited.
Yeah, we were a little skeptical at first.
Kind of thought he was crazy, not sure what to think.
We didn't know what he was getting us into, and we weren't sure what our friends would think if we made this YouTube video. But you know how older brothers are; they kind of get their way. So he convinced us to go along with him, and we decided that we can make it cool, like he was saying. You know, we'd just be. We have fun on the farm anyways. We would just put a camera in front of it and see what happens. And so we started getting this video all together, and we didn't think it looked too bad, but we didn't have huge expectations. We talked a little about how many views we might get when we put it on YouTube, and we thought it was just, you know, for our friends, but we thought maybe after a few years it would get shared around some. Maybe we could get like 50,000 views. That would be like so many people if it got shared around that much. And so that was kind of like the big number we could come up with. And but instead what happened was we posted it on YouTube and shared it on our personal Facebook pages, and our friends started sharing it right away, and their friends started sharing it, and their friends started sharing it. We actually passed 50,000 views just in the first couple of days.
Yeah, so this timeline shows how fast it spread. And so lots of different media sites had picked it up. I think it was spread between college groups and 4-H and FFA type of groups. And so right away, we actually had some local media to do interviews. So we did some local media there. That third day, we actually had every single state TV news network in Kansas. Their vans were parked in our yard.
Every single one of them.
But when you think about it, that's only 3. So, but we thought that was pretty cool. We got an even bigger call the next day from New York City. So Fox News they called us and they wanted us to fly to New York City and be on their morning program. So we went from working on the planter at 11 a.m. to being in Times Square by 11 p.m. And this was a pretty big step for just 3 Kansas farm kids. Nathan and I had never really traveled outside the surrounding states of Kansas. So it was pretty big jump.
It was clear we weren't in Kansas anymore.
And but we found ourselves with a really cool opportunity to kind of share that message we'd kind of come up with, that we wanted to inform people about agriculture, and we wanted to tell people that it was fun, and just give people a glimpse into what it's like to grow up on a farm, whether that's in Kansas or wherever else it is. You can kind of see this was while we were on. You can kind of see the deer in the headlights look. That week just kind of hit us so fast, and we were just kind of reacting and doing what we could to advocate for agriculture. And but by the end of that program, I think the view count went up about 2 million in that day, and then by the end of that week, we were past 5 million. And so we came back from New York City, but we were still getting all this stuff, and we noticed that the cattle didn't care. They just want to be fed twice a day. So,
and it was like all of a sudden we'd gone from being the Peterson brothers of Assaria, Kansas, population 300, you know, that people just knew around the community, no big deal, to all of a sudden we were the Peterson farm bros from the internet. That's how people knew us, and that's where people knew us from. And like everywhere we'd go, like we went to the Kansas State Fair just a few weeks later, and we'd have people recognize us and come up to us and ask for pictures and autographs. And it was so weird to all of a sudden become celebrities just because of a video that we'd made, you know, just kind of for fun for our friends. And so that took a little bit getting used to. And not only that, but we had to get used to some new labels, okay? We were walking to the state fair, and we had these 2 ladies come by, and the one recognized us and said to the other one kind of under her breath, "You see those guys? You know who those guys are?" And the other lady says, "No, who are those guys?" She goes, "Those are those rappers from YouTube." And so, yeah, there's been some interesting titles we've been given over the years, but it's been, you know, just a pretty crazy experience for us, and it took the rest of the summer to adjust to our newfound fame, or whatever you want to call it. But people told us, enjoy your 15 minutes of fame. don't worry about it. It'll be over before you know it. Life will return back to normal. And that's kind of what we thought too. So life did return back to normal, and we went back to school in the fall and thought that might be it. I'm Farming and I Grow It would just kind of always have its legacy as that one time, that one video happened. But then in November of 2012, a few months later, we thought to ourselves, hey, why not make another music video? Like, why not do a follow-up to I'm Farming and I Grow It? We thought that maybe the people who watched our first video will watch our second video. And the most popular song at the time was Gangnam Style by Psy. And we thought that would be a perfect song to parody, not only because it was so popular, but because you can change Gangnam Style to Farmer Style, and then the rest of the words are all in Korean, so you can just rewrite them however you want to. You don't have to worry about matching them up. So we were excited about that, and we filmed it and put it online, and didn't really know what to expect again. We figured the people who watched I'm Farming and I Grow It might watch our second video. What we didn't realize was that all the people who were watching Gangnam Style would watch Farmer Style. And so the popularity of Gangnam Style actually drove our views to be, Farmer Style went twice as viral as I'm Farming and I Grow It. So that 5 million views I'm Farming and I Grow It got in a week, Farmer Style got 10 million. So this is actually our most viewed video called Farmer Style. We're gonna go ahead and play for you guys. It's a parody of Gangnam Style by Psy.
Working farmer style. Farmer style. We are the Peterson Farm Bros, and we're farming and we grow it. We love agriculture and we want the world to know it. Farming is a way of life with many different flavors, being stewards of the gifts God gave us.
Out here on the farm, we're running green John Deere tractors.
Out here on the farm,
We work in many weather factors.
out here on the farm,
We're working hard to raise your food.
out here on the farm, on the family farm. Agriculture is so important to me and should be to you. It means the world and will never ever cease to be. We need to eat. We all need farmers to provide us with their food, 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 food. Working farmer style. Farmer style. Work, 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 work. Working farmer style.
Oh, we got a Gangnam Style back there.
Farmer style. Work, 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 work. Working farmer style. Hey, for my cattle. Work, 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 work. Working farmer style. Hey, from the field. Work, 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 work. Hey, 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 hey.
Farmers are working harder than you might imagine. But that is just because we have a job that is our passion. We will work sun up to sundown time and time again, as if working for the Lord and not for men.
Out here on the farm.
We get away from lights of cities.
Out here on the farm.
The countryside is nice and pretty.
Out here on the farm.
We work together as a family.
Out here on the farm, on the family farm. Agriculture is so important to me and should be to you. It means the world and will never ever cease to be. We need to eat. We all need farmers to provide us with their food, 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 food. Working farmer style. Farmer style. Work, 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 work. Working farmer style. Farmer style. Work, 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 work. Working farmer style. Hey, for my cattle. Work, 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 work. Working farmer style. Hey, from the field. Work, 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 work. Hey, 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 hey.
Is what we feed our cattle, so they grow big and strong, and then become the food that keeps us living nice and long.
Our crops like corn and wheat help make diets complete. Without the farmers working, we would all be starving.
You know what I'm saying? Working farmer style. Hey, 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 hey. Think a farmer. Work, 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 work. Working farmer style. Hey, for your food. Work, 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 work. Hey, 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 hey.
working farmer style.
Good job, guys.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
the help.
You guys like it up here,
You can
don't
sit back down now if you want. See ya. Thanks. That's fun.
Yeah. So the cool thing about the farmer style video was, like Greg said, so many people were watching the Gangnam Style video, and then they'd click off on, some of them would click off on ours, and so we started getting views from kind of all around the world. And it was crazy to see a lot of farm people watching our videos, but also a lot of people from more urban audiences watching our video. And it was really amazing to see the power of the internet, that 3 Kansas farm kids could just make a video again and put it on the internet, and people from all over the place could see it. And we started getting some crazy comments, so we kind of knew we were reaching more urban areas. We had one that said, "I live in Los Angeles, what is a farm?" And then one said, "Since when do they have internet in Kansas?" We're like, okay, you know. And then one even said, "Why are these guys working so hard to raise their own food when they can just go to the grocery store and buy it?" And so we weren't sure how serious to take some of these comments, but we could tell people were getting a glimpse into farming and what goes on in the Midwest, where so much agriculture happens and so much food and fiber is produced. And we realized from here on out that we wanted to use the platform that we'd been given to really represent farmers the best we could, and show what happens on our farm the best we could, by not only keep making videos, but also doing some other things.
Yeah, and so we got lots of questions directed at us on just questions about farming in general. And so it was a good thing that people that were watching were kind of confused, because that meant they were learning something about farming. And so we kind of tried to take advantage of that by just advocating in a few different ways. We started a Facebook page where we can post once or twice a day just updates from our farm, whether that's just what we're doing each day, or we can share blogs and articles just talking about different talking points of agriculture. Greg's actually written some of his own, and we have blogs we can share about what, like, use of pesticides or GMOs or animal welfare, and we try to stimulate discussion on the Facebook page through those blogs as well. And we've also tried to just kind of represent transparency for agriculture by opening up our farm for farm tours. And a lot of places we travel, there's people who are doing a really good job with that in the area as well. And so all these different ways, we just wanted to kind of capitalize on being able to bring people in with the YouTube videos, people that wouldn't necessarily be learning about agriculture otherwise, and then just kind of give them more information. So if they're willing to learn and they want to learn about agriculture and practices, that they can find information directly from a farmer.
And doing all this advocacy side of things, it's led to a lot of these speaking presentations just around the country where we talk about advocating for agriculture. And kind of the unique thing about all the speaking that we've been able to do like this, and the traveling, I've been to 49 states and like 8 Canadian provinces and 7 different countries just since the video happened, just because of the video. And the neat thing about that is you get to see farms in all these places. And obviously when it's negative 20-degree wind chill in North Dakota, we're not going to be seeing farms today. But we've gotten to tour farms all over the place. And what's so neat is you start to learn about the diversity of the ag industry, and how, farms look totally different in North Dakota than in Kansas, and in Canada, and in Australia, and South Africa, and everywhere you go, even from one side of the state to the other. Farming, there's just different crops being grown, there's different infrastructures, there's different ways of doing things. And so we've really learned kind of the scope of agriculture, and then we've also just learned a lot about the people that we meet within the ag community. Farming looks different everywhere you go, but the people that you meet, pretty much all the same. It's so cool to think about how there is just a worldwide community of farmers that are pretty much all working towards this common goal of feeding the world. And so that's something that we really take pride in, and it's something that, we don't take our platform granted, that we're telling the story of farmers to millions of people. Like we really feel honored to be a voice for the farming community, and we want to, ask other people to join us in what we're advocating for. So that's all kind of inspired this next video that we're going to play. This is called Farmers Feed the World, and it's just basically a video that shows what farming is like all over the world, and hopefully kind of gives you a sense of pride for the community, the agriculture community that you're a part of. So this is Farmers Feed the World. There we go.
You already know who it is.
I hate weeds. I hate weeds. I hate weeds.
Kill it.
Now watch me mix. Watch me spray, spray. Now watch me mix, mix. Watch me spray, spray. Now watch me mix. Watch me spray, spray. Now watch me mix, mix. Watch me spray, spray. Cut the corn. Cut the corn. Cut the corn. Cut the corn. Swing your head down low and pick the ears. Swing your head down low and pick the ears.
I make them straight rows vanish. Cut the corn quickly, break downs will make me panic. I heart farming, but I also love eating. That's why it's cars, cattle, pigs, people that I'm feeding.
I work late, just do it like Nike. No sleep time, so my eyes are gonna fight me. Gotta get the harvest in before winter strike me. So much on my mind that sometimes I'm not like me.
Dirty pair of jeans with pliers on my belt. Please don't complain unless you're feeding yourself. Throw the auger out wide, man, somebody get the cart. Go, blah, da, da, unload. Seems we always need some help. Pull up to the truck.
Cut the corn. Cut the corn. Cut the corn. Cut the corn. Swing your head down low and pick the ears. Swing your head down low and pick the ears. Do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do.
This farm 5 gens old, I'm raising wheat and it's like gold.
This farm's got track those straight masterpieces.
Smiling, wildin', God's countryside so pretty.
So pretty.
Got fresh air to breathe in and this view should beat the city. It's too hot, oh man. I'm sweating through my shirt and hat. It's too hot, oh man. Make a farmer want to retire, man. It's too hot, oh man. My crops are in but they drying. It's too hot, oh man. And my profile be crack breaking down. Chance of rain, hallelujah. Chance of rain, hallelujah. Chance of rain, hallelujah.
Cause rain and sun gon' give it to ya. Cause rain and sun gon' give it to ya. Cause rain and sun gon' give it to ya.
Saturday night and we in the field. Don't believe me, just watch. 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 Hey, 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 hey.
Stop.
Wait a minute. Fill your plate, put some dinner in it. Take a bite, stop and think.
Farmers make your food and drink.
From West Coast to East Coast,
Down low Mississippi.
worldwide we gonna show how we make your food like fresh job skipping.
Farmers feed the world. 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 Farmers feed the world.
Still have music.
One of the main things we've learned from kind of this whole experience has kind of just been about advocating for agriculture. You know, social media is a great tool. Like, it's one of the most powerful tools we've ever seen. I mean, we kind of showed you the numbers, what 3, guys from Kansas have been able to do. We film our videos, or at least our first couple videos were filmed with cell phones, And so it's kind of incredible to think that we have these tools in our pocket, and we have this social media available to us that we can carry around in our pocket on the farm and film things and take pictures of things and just broadcast it to millions of people. And so, we feel like we're growing up in a really unique time, and our generation has really unique communication abilities, and we're trying to use social media to communicate what farmers do the best we can. But the problem with social media is that it's kind of a double-edged sword. And many of you know this. If you go online, there's as much good as is being done with social media. There's a lot of bad that comes with it, and there's a lot of misinformation that people are posting and things that are flat out not true. And that happens in the conversation about farming, and it happens in the conversation about food. And so we basically are trying to be a positive voice when it comes to that, and not only educate people about farming, but sometimes even re-educate them about farming as well. And one of the main lessons we've learned about advocating for agriculture is taking the initiative. And so, I always think back to when I had the idea from Farming and I Grow It, when we had the idea to start all of this. If we wouldn't have taken the initiative and taken those steps to film that first video, none of the stuff that's followed would have ever happened. And so for each one of you in the audience, it's really a life lesson. I mean, it can really be applied to the farm as well. If you're on the farm and you're thinking about doing something new, trying a new technology, trying a new process of raising crops, raising corn, if you never take the initiative on your farm and try something new, you'll never find out the impact that decision could have had. And so when it comes to advocating for agriculture, we just like to encourage people, just take the initiative and see what you can do. You don't have to make a YouTube video that reaches millions of views, but just look for ways that you can make an impact to help people's perceptions of what we do as farmers.
Yeah, we just like to emphasize just telling your story. Every farm kind of has a story. Every business kind of has a story of how it got started, and we kind of explained our story through our YouTube videos and just through growing up in agriculture. And I think sometimes we take for granted all those lessons that we've learned on the farm and things we've learned over years because we have the experience with them and we're so in that culture. But there are a lot of simple things we know about farming and could explain to someone that would make an impact on consumers that are interested. So if we're not out there kind of explaining the story of agriculture, explaining the hard work that goes into it for producers just all across the state and all across the nation, then people might get their story from elsewhere. They might think a lot of different things about the ag production that isn't really true because it wasn't a producer that told them, it was someone from the internet. And so just be aware of that, and if you see an opportunity to explain an agricultural process or just tell your neighbor about something that's going on, or there is interest out there to learn, and so just take the initiative to explain your story of your farm or whatever that is.
And remember to support each other. We started with just a video for our friends, and we had so many people share the video to more people and more people that we've always felt so much support from the very beginning for what we've done. And if we're all supporting each other and sharing our side positively and not just arguing with people, then it reflects even better back on our industry. And also, if you're supporting each other, then you can learn new things about how other people farm, or even with other industries, you can learn about how they work, and you can share how agriculture works. And that way, we learn a lot easier about what's going on in our world.
And then every little bit counts. Kind of already talked about it. Social media, is great. Like I said, it's one of the best communication tools we've ever seen in terms of just reaching sheer numbers of people. Our Facebook page, we'll post a picture on there sometimes, like while we're out in the field, we'll just take a picture of something and post it from our phone, and the next thing you know, 1 million people have seen that post. And it's like farmers can advocate from the seat of their tractor just by taking 30 seconds to post a picture. And especially think about things like auto steer and things that allow farmers to kind of have some time to do that kind of stuff. So we do believe that social media is a great tool, And one of the easiest ways to use social media is just to join in conversations that are happening. So if you see your friend online posting something about, farmers or food that isn't true, just go on there and politely provide the right information and kind of correct them in that way. And you can go to a lot of different like news sites, things like USA Today or New York Times, that if they post a blog about food or about a farming practice that's controversial and people are having conversations below in the comment section, we need more farmers to be present in those conversations. So many times these internet conversations are happening with hundreds of comments about a farming practice or about food, and there's no farmers involved. And I just kind of think that's unfortunate, and that shouldn't be how it is. But at the same time, as great as social media is, just having conversations and inviting people to your farm, we still think that that's one of the best ways to advocate for agriculture. And as we talked about before, even growing up in a rural state like Kansas or North Dakota, there are still people all around us that don't know what farming is about. I mean, in Fargo, I can imagine there's hundreds, thousands of people here who have never been to a farm, have never talked to a farmer, and don't know anything about where their food comes from. So don't be afraid to just have conversations with people in your community, invite people to your farm, be transparent about stuff. And, a lot of farmers say, I don't have time, or I'm afraid I'll do something wrong or screw something up. Don't worry about that. It shouldn't be. I think part of farming, especially in the future, as it just gets worse and worse, people become less and less educated. We've got to be more transparent and more vocal about what we do. And so we just encourage you guys to join us in advocating for agriculture. We don't want to be the only ones doing this, and so I just want to encourage you with that. And like a personal conversation could go viral, just like a YouTube video. You think about, you have one conversation with somebody or invite one person to your farm, they could go on and talk to many other people about what they learned. And so never underestimate just impacting one person. Like, we're not trying to, you don't have to reach millions of people to make a difference. You just have to reach one or two. Just start there. Take the initiative and start there. And if every single person in agriculture is reaching just a few people, that's going to be a huge difference. And so, just want to encourage you there. And and one more thing, like, you think about if every single person in the United States could spend a day on the farm in their life and personally be friends with a farmer, think about the difference that would make in the public's perception of what we do. So that's kind of a goal that I'd really like to work toward, and it's not going to be easy. In fact, it'll probably get harder and harder with each year that passes, but we definitely have to keep up the fight and keep up the good work. So the next video we're going to do is called I'm So Farmer. It's a mashup of 5 different songs. It's the one you started to play.
No, it's not.
Yeah. Oh no, that's the Fresh
Fresh
Breath Farmer. My bad.
Farmer. It should be after this.
Yeah. Okay, that's the one we'd like to do. Next is the I'm So Farmer. It's a mashup of several different songs from the year 2014. We'll see if. Yep, that's right. Okay.
Fire up loud and crank the lever up. Throttle down for what? Throttle down for what? Throttle down for what? Throttle down for what?
All around the world, farmers speak the language. It's just the way we have a conversation. The only question that you need to know is, will you talk farm to me?
So how much moisture you get out that way?
Oh, about 2,100.
Talk farm to me.
Cattle prices are terrible high.
Hey, there's Scott.
Talk farm to me.
Check this out. JD 8320R, IVT 60 GPM pump.
Talk farm to me.
Hello?
Yeah, Dad. What am I supposed to come out here?
Yes, some people
people can tell us that lettuce is number one. And we agree that veggies and fruits are packed full of nutrition. But only eating these things is just not for everyone. There are some foods that taste better, that's why we are singing this song. Because you know I'm all about that beef, got that beef, no kale. I'm all about that beef, got that beef, no kale. I'm all about that beef, got that beef, no kale. I'm all about that beef, got that beef.
First things first, be a realist. Be a real farmer's job, dead the whole world will feel it. That's why I'm in the farming business. I can raise the food like I'm giving lessons in physics.
Did you know the cattle grown like this? Grass baled up and pitched like this? Bucket of grain, bucket of sows, bucket of hay, mud, moose feeding leather in the weather every day.
Treating everything right, never doubt that. Homegrown, ethics shown, yeah, we about that. So bring the plates in, where the beef at? It's what's for dinner, y'all, I know that you should taste that.
I'm so farmer, you already know. I'm in my tractor, jamming out to the radio. I'm so farmer, my brain makes go. Remember that in the grocery store.
I said, people, I do this. I thought that you knew this. I don't get a single day off, but the truth is that sun up to sundown, despite all the breakdowns, I put ag and swagger. I never want to retire.
Better get my crops in on time. If they're not money, I'll decline. I use my GPS and auto steer to plan a straight line. Better get my crops in on time. Hope there's no market decline. And just forget about my haters. Gotta stay on my grind.
Now tell me who that, that do that. Complaining with a full stomach, please don't do that. Think the L-O-R-D, put his name in bold, and thank the farmers out there working both young and old. Sing,
I'm so farmer, you already know. I love my job, from my head down to tomatoes. I'm so farmer, I plant this gold, pray for a big rain, watch it grow. Let it grow, let it grow, can't hold it back anymore. Let it grow, let it grow, so the food gets to the store. We'll get a stand, and we'll get paid. Let the storm rage on.
The rain never bothered me anyway.
Okay, that's good. All right, so I know, like, for some of you, like, the music that we parody, like, isn't your favorite type of music, obviously, and it's not ours either. And so we just want to, like, remind you that, like, the reason we parody the songs that we do is because that's what is reaching the urban audiences. And so a lot of times in agriculture, when we're trying to advocate, we end up kind of just preaching to the choir. And the main way we've been able to kind of branch out and get this message into the cities and people from urban communities is by doing those urban style songs. So we know you may not necessarily enjoy the music, but hopefully you enjoy the words and the videos, and hopefully you've enjoyed this afternoon. Before we close, we've got one more video to play, but we'd like to open it up for some question and answer time from you guys. If you guys have any questions for us about what we do or what we've talked about. Got one in the back there. Yeah. So, yeah, we obviously, like, we love the fact that we have, younger viewers. Like, a huge part of the people who watch our videos are the youth, whether that's kids or, high schoolers, FFA students, stuff like that. And so we definitely try to include, educational things as part of that. It's kind of hard to write songs or lyrics about things like GMOs and pesticides. They don't really fit in very well. But we do, especially with our blogs, what we do is we try to draw people in with the videos as kind of entertainment and then link to those blogs where we provide as much education as they want for things like GMOs and pesticides.
And we've gone to different high schools and grade schools and done some presentations. And then we also have we did a Life of a Farmer YouTube series that a lot of people who are teachers have told us that they've played in their classes for videos. So it's really encouraging to hear that the youth are kind of getting involved with that. Oh yeah, I mean, and we have ideas for more. Like I wanted to do like a coloring book for kids to do and fill out and have like farm scenes with like explanations behind it. That was one of my ideas for having the kids do something besides watching a YouTube video. We'd kind of like them, if they were doing coloring and learning at the same time. We think that'd be really cool.
And you could definitely include education, like you were talking about, in like books like that. So it might be kind of hard to fit it in a music video, but we're definitely going to try to keep working it in other ways for sure. So that's good. Any other questions? Do you have a question? Oh, that's okay. Yeah. Just let us know if you think of one. Can Dad get all the chores done when we're not home? That's a great question, huh? Yeah. I don't think Laura's doing much of the chores.
No.
Yeah, he. It takes him a little longer when we're not there. But he's been very understanding overall. Both our parents, they enjoy what we do and seeing us be able to do all this together. But it's definitely taken flexibility from everyone in our family to keep everything going at home. So yeah. So right now, Greg is speaking almost full time and does all of our scheduling. So he helps a lot on the farm still during the summer. During the winter, he hasn't helped as much, but he stays pretty busy. And he'll help, on extra busy days. And then I'm graduated from K-State, and I'm back home full time when I'm not speaking. So and then Kendall is in school, and so he can't miss class too much. So we kind of go on speaking trips like 2 or 3 times a month, maybe, probably. And so we try not to be gone as much, and that allows Kendall to keep learning in class, and it allows me to help Dad more on the farm. But those days we are all 3 gone. It takes extra work from Dad, and so we're thankful for that.
And we do hope to all 3 return to the farm in some capacity. Like right now, Nathan's the only one who's full-time on the farm, and it may take 5 or 6 years or longer for us to be able to build our farm to where it needs to be to support all 3 of us. But thankfully, these videos have kind of provided a way to bring in non-farm income, or a way to have a job like where I can travel during the winter and then help on the farm still in the summer. So we do hope to all 3 keep the farm going and hopefully farm someday full-time. So. Who is the choreographer? Well, we don't feel like we do anything that requires choreography, but
we do a lot of standing in front of cows and then
like our terrible dancing attempts. I don't think any choreographer would want to take credit for those. No. Laura is probably the closest thing we have, our sister.
She at least tells us when we look completely stupid and like okay, do anything but that, and then we know, okay, we'll try something different.
Yeah, and we've tried to come up with different areas around the farm to film at. There's plenty of scenes, but after you've made 10, 10 music videos, then you do start to run out of a few ideas. We've started filming from the air, actually, instead of just right in front of us. We have a drone that we can film. You saw some of the shots from an earlier video where we can kind of take overviews of farm equipment, and that's really cool to do. And then we've upgraded a couple different filming techniques, and so we try to splash in some different things. But as far as choreography, we're still pretty basic. But
How long does it take to do one video? Do you guys want to? Who hasn't talked enough?
I don't know.
Not me.
So
I
think.
I was about to go. Okay, the very first video, we didn't really know what we were getting ourselves into, of course. We did that over like a month period probably, and just kind of here and there. And so that's how long that one took. The second one, we did most of the filming in like one day, and we had like 95% of it done in a week, and then it was mostly like the editing and stuff, because we were trying to get it done during our Thanksgiving break. And so it kind of depends on how motivated we are. If we have time, if the farm's not too busy, if we're not too busy traveling, then we try to get out and get it done. But we also have to like come up with a good song to do. Sometimes we want to do a song and we like can't think of any good words for it, so we just we kind of have to wait for the right song to come along. And so it depends on a lot of factors. Once we get going on something, then Greg usually is the one that pushes us the most. He's like, we got to get done.
And you guys are like, oh, we don't want to.
Some days we get a lot of filming done in a really short time. Sometimes we go out there and we haven't like interacted. We haven't like seen each other for like a couple weeks, and we're just like joking around on like a Sunday afternoon or something. So we do have a lot of fun filming, but sometimes when we're on a time crunch, then we try to film as business-like as possible, as business as three brothers can do.
All right, let's do one more question if we have one. Maybe we don't have one. Okay. Well, we hope you've enjoyed this presentation. If you'd like to share some of our content, or if you'd like to kind of watch the rest of our videos, you can type in Peterson Farm Bros into YouTube or Facebook. Our Facebook page is where we kind of do most of our communication anymore. Honestly, that's kind of turned into kind of our most used social media form over YouTube. So we post on there like twice a day. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram. The blog that we were talking about is found on our website, petersonfarmbros.com. And you can find blogs about GMOs and pesticides and animal welfare, conventional and organic. We've written those blogs for farmers to be able to share. We understand that you guys don't necessarily have time. If one of your friends asks you, what do you think about GMOs, you don't have time to sit there and talk for an hour or to write up a big, long thing about what you believe on GMOs. So we've tried to provide resources for farmers to be able to share with people they know. And there's lots of other advocates online who have created content for you to share too. So
make sure you read them and see if you agree with us first.
Yeah, for sure. So feel free to check all that out. We're going to be back in the lobby area after we're done here. If you'd like to come and say hi or take a picture, or we did bring some autograph posters some posters that we autograph and sell for $5. So if you're interested in that as well, something to take home to your kids or something like that. So we're gonna do this one more music video. This is one of our favorite music videos that we've done. It's called Chore. It's a parody of Roar by Katy Perry. Never thought we'd do a Katy Perry song, but we did. And anyway, it's a great representation of who farmers are and what farmers are doing. Whether you have livestock or not, farmers are working year-round, doing chores to help feed and clothe the world. So this is Chore.
Guys, we should do a parody. Greg, we always do parodies. No, like a parody. Like Katy Perry. No, not gonna happen. You know what? What if the next song that comes on the radio, if it is a Katy Perry song, we're gonna do a Katy Perry D. All right.
I used to help feed cattle as a lad, pitching hay in the bunch just like my dad. Now I'm a farmer too. I grow your beef for you. I guess you might not know just what it takes to help produce those thick and juicy steaks. It starts with guys like me, out on the farm you see.
I load the corn, I load the hay, then the silage fills it all the way. The wagon churns, I pull ahead. The cattle know that they are about to get fed.
They hear the noise, they run around. Hey! Cattle thunder gonna shake the ground. It smells so good, they see it now.
I got the eye of the bovine at dinner time, staring through the sunshine, 'cause I am a farmer, and they wanna see me chore morning, morning and night, 'cause I am a farmer, and they wanna see me chore. They wanna see me chore. Now the cattle know that I'm your guy. Treat 'em right, keep 'em healthy and alive. I feed to zero, so I'm their hero.
The markets go down, the costs go up. Hey! The farming life can get so rough. I feed in the snow, I feed in the rain. The weather makes you go insane.
It can hold me down, but I'll get up. Hey! A true farmer will never give up. I love my job, and I know that.
I got the eye of the bovine at dinner time, staring through the sunshine, 'cause I am a farmer, and they wanna see me chore morning, morning and night, 'cause I am a farmer, and they wanna see me chore. They wanna see me chore. They wanna see me chore. Chore, 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 chore.
I got the eye of
Consumers at dinner time, we're standing in the checkout line, 'cause I am a farmer, and you'll wanna see me chore morning, morning and night, 'cause I am a farmer, and you'll wanna see me chore. You'll wanna see me You'll wanna see me
All right, well, thank you again for having us. Thanks to everyone who was involved in putting this convention together. Hope you all enjoy the rest of it and have a great day. Feel free to come say hi. Thank you.
Thanks to these young fellows from Kansas, Greg, Nathan, and Kendall. Thanks so much for the time that you provide and selling agriculture to the world. Thank you. So we're going to take a little break before Dr. Bill Wilson, so stand up and get a coffee. But before we do that, we will, I'd like to remind you to fill out your Farm Bill surveys, put your name on top of it, and stick around for after Dr. Bill so you might become a grand prize winner. We're going to start to hear, let's say, 2:35 for Dr. Bill Wilson's presentation. And then after that, we'll announce the grand prize winners of your drawings on your Farm Bill survey. So let's take a break here. See you at 2:35 sharp for Dr. Bill. Thanks.